We're going to be living together from now on, so can you leave? People like you are called parasites. I feel a heavy weight of condemnation from my brother, his wife, and my mother. I've reached my breaking point. I'm not perfect either, and I don't mean to be kind to these people. I plan to make them regret looking down on me. My name is Jessica, a 37-year-old office worker. 3 years ago, when my father died of cancer, he left a message asking me to look after my mother. This led me to decide to return to our family home. For the past 3 years, I've lived with my mother, relying only on my sense of responsibility to keep my promise to my father. But my mother never showed any gratitude. On the contrary, she kept making various demands as if it were natural. I'm going out to eat with the neighbors. Give me some money. Prepare money for tomorrow. I need to buy a birthday present for my friend. I want a new vacuum cleaner. Ours is old, so get the latest one. She keeps throwing all sorts of demands at me. If I refuse, she gets furious and becomes uncontrollable. So basically, I comply with her requests. Managing the money I give every time is cumbersome. So, I acknowledged her as an additional cardholder and set up a separate main account for the card debits. This way, I only need to transfer a lump sum to that account. As a single office worker at this age, I've worked for a long time and have a high salary. Furthermore, I've been investing in stocks since I was young, so I have considerable savings and assets. Of course, I wouldn't tell my mother about this. She's always been a spendthrift, so it's clear she'd waste it. But for now, even if she squanders money, it's not particularly problematic. Unaware of this, my mother continues her wasteful spending while I try to save as much as possible. Our monthly expenses amount to about $4,000, with the majority being my mother's spending. I fully understand that it's wasteful, but changing the situation isn't easy. I'm not strong enough to abandon my mother. Complicated feelings toward my family get in the way. I wonder if valuing family is hypocrisy or a weakness. The main reason I continue this distorted life is the promise I made to my father. I deeply respected my father. He was diligent, kind, and straightforward, the ideal adult I aspired to be. Following my father's teachings, I started investing at an early stage. Inspired by his words, the earlier, the better, I began saving money from my student days. Even after entering the workforce, I continued to save until I had accumulated enough funds to begin investing. During that time, I educated myself about money and accumulated knowledge. Thanks to this, I was able to smoothly proceed with my investments, yielding profits without any major setbacks. I also emulated my father in how I approached my job. Whenever I faced challenges, I always consulted him. In my early working years, I often went out for drinks with my father after work. My mother was at home, and whenever my father and I discussed work, she would sometimes join the conversation or get upset depending on the topic. So, I cherished those moments outside where I could have undisturbed conversations with him. Guided by my father's advice, I achieved success in my job and gained confidence. I grew to love my work even more. As a result, I became deeply committed to my career. Although I remained single, I have no regrets about being so work-oriented. Life continued much the same way. My mother's spendthrift ways were a concern, but by letting her be and focusing solely on my work, I could lead my life. My mother imposed household chores on me, even though I was working. As a result, I strived to balance both work and household duties. Consequently, I juggled both work and domestic responsibilities. As time passed, I became adept at household chores and even improved my cooking skills. I tried to see this in a positive light, believing these skills would come in handy if I ever got married. However, I was growing weary of a life tied down by my mother. I knew I had to eventually break free from this lifestyle. In the midst of all this, the presence of my elder brother and his wife added to my troubles. Recently, my elder brother David, who's 2 years older than me, and his wife Lily, who's the same age as me, began visiting our family home frequently. There wasn't a problem with them visiting, but historically, David and I never got along well. Our personalities clashed. I was more conservative and careful, resembling my father, while David, like our mother, was the complete opposite. From childhood, he would spend his allowance as soon as he got it, lacking any foresight or planning. He lived for the moment. One of David's clever tactics was winning our mother over. He was very skilled at being sweet and charming. Whenever he ran out of money, he would sweet-talk her into giving him more. "Mom, thank you for always working hard and doing household chores for us. I'll help out with chores next time." With such flattering words, he would easily manipulate her, and she would invariably buy him whatever he wanted. Furthermore, David was skilled in sports and was an active member of club activities, especially in soccer. He was good enough to be chosen as a select member, and his impressive performance was praised by people in the neighborhood. To Mother, David was a son to be proud of. Being with him made her feel as though she too was being praised. Receiving compliments from David became a regular occurrence, and Mother often spoiled him. On the other hand, I was good at studies but did not excel in anything else. Therefore, from Mother's perspective, there might not have been much to praise about me. I looked average, and most people in the neighborhood seemed to know me as David's sister. Due to such circumstances, Mother appeared very fond of David, showing little interest in me. The fact that I had a close relationship with our father might not have sat well with her either. Furthermore, David and I didn't get along well, leading Mother to naturally side with him. Although our father tried to treat both of us equally, Mother's special treatment made David more arrogant and cold towards me. "Jessica, move, you're in the way." "Why?" "I was watching TV first. The anime I want to watch starts now." "Move from that spot on the sofa." "What? You've recorded that anime. You can watch it later." "I want to watch it live now." "Just move." David's selfishness was a recurring event. He wasn't satisfied unless he got his way. Even observing these unreasonable demands, Mother was always on David's side. Whenever we fought or argued, even when David was at fault, she always took his side. "What are you doing, Jessica? David's show is starting, so hurry it up and let him watch." "But I was watching something." "Stop being selfish and let him watch. You go back to your room since you're just in the way." Mother yelled at me with a harsh tone and attitude. With no other option, I returned to my room while David took the sofa without any sign of remorse. Mother brought snacks and juice only for David, not for me, especially when our father was not around. Mother would favor David and ignore me, growing up in such an environment. I naturally distanced myself from David as we became adults. The first time I met David's wife, Lily, was unforgettable. "So you're David's sister, Jessica, right? You're just as plain and unfashionable as David described you. You lack any charm." I was at a loss for words. Shockingly, this was said to me during a family gathering. While she might have been scolded by her parents for such words, David and Lily seemed to enjoy it. I instantly took a dislike to Lily. Even at family gatherings during New Year's and Independence Day celebrations, Lily insulted me many times. "Jessica, we're the same age, but you're still not married. It feels like you've never even had a boyfriend, right?" David and Lily, in unison, made fun of me. "No man would ever want to date someone as plain as you. Jessica has always been a worthless woman with nothing going for her." David and his wife took advantage of my father's absence to belittle me. My mother sided with David, only laughing without defending me. Thus, every time the family gathered at our parents' home, I felt uncomfortable. Several years ago, due to David's job transfer, family gatherings became rare, and I had some peace. However, recently, David returned from another transfer. Since then, regardless of the season, he has been coming home every weekend. Their frequent visits have been a great inconvenience to me, and if anything, their sarcasm seems to have increased. "You're still as plain as ever, huh? Living at home at your age? That's unthinkable. Do you know they call women like you a parasite single?" "Single? It's embarrassing to have a parasite single as my sister-in-law." David and Lily are right. It's truly embarrassing as a parent. Ignoring the fact that I support my mother's lifestyle, I shut myself in my room whenever David and Lily belittle me like this. Even though David and his wife don't particularly want to spend time with me, I often notice that they go out to eat with my mother. During these times, I quickly prepare and eat my dinner, then return to my room after cleaning up. This way, I can work in my room without much contact with David and his wife. However, the frequency of their visits increases day by day, and it seems my mother treats them to meals every time. I was surprised many times when I saw the credit card statements. They often went to high-end wine bars or barbecue restaurants. Moreover, most of the designer items David and his wife wore were bought by my mother. I couldn't help but question the situation where my mother lavishes them with gifts and treats, and they accept it as if it's their due. At the end of my patience, I once confronted my mother about it. "Mom, you're spoiling David and Lily too much with the dining out and all. They both work, so why would you let them pay sometimes?" When I said this, my mother's face turned bright red with rage. "Who do you think you were lecturing me? How I spend my money on David and Lily is my business. Have you forgotten the favor of letting you live in this house?" Mother raised her voice and exclaimed. It seemed she felt as though she was doing me a favor by letting me live with her, which took me by surprise, considering she's been depending on my income and everything I've done for her. The only reason I live at my childhood home is to honor a promise I made to my father. It's not because I want to be with her. It seems Mother shared our recent spat with David and Lily, and they came to the house a few days later and said the following. "Jessica, enough is enough. The only reason you've been able to live in this house is because of Mom. How dare you go against such a kind-hearted woman? People like you are called parasites, Jessica. You should leave this house." "Excuse me? You heard us, right? We're going to be living here with Mom from now on. Could you please leave?" Parasite burden. The couple, along with Mother, lashed out at me fiercely. My patience was at its end. I'm not a saint. I can't see a reason to be kind to these people any longer. It's too late for them to regret the way they treated me. At that moment, I decided to get my revenge on David, Lily, and Mother. "I understand. If I leave, you'll be satisfied, right?" When I said this, the couple grinned maliciously. "Remember what you promised. If you're still here the next time we come, we won't hesitate to kick you out." Finally, the day has come for us to live in this house. Let's have a wonderful life together, Mom. Yes, I'm very excited. It will be wonderful living with David and Lily. It will be such a joy. As David, Lily, and Mother cheerfully chatted about such absurdities, I went back to my room and immediately started looking for a new place to live. I'm not particularly picky about the size of my living space, so I chose an affordable apartment near my workplace. It's in a building with secure entrances and is close to a supermarket, so I felt safe there. I immediately arranged for a moving company. When I informed Mother about the moving date, she apparently contacted David and Lily right away. About a week later, I completed the move. It seems Mother didn't even want to be with me anymore. She went on a vacation with the couple for several days. They scheduled their return to coincide with the day David and Lily would move their stuff into our family home. As expected, Mother called me soon after. "Jessica, what is going on? Why are the furniture and appliances gone?" "Well, I bought them with my money, so it's only natural for me to take them with me." "What are you talking about? Don't be ridiculous. They were all bought by me. Did you forget that you begged me to replace the furniture and appliances, and I bought them for you? I paid for them with my money. Anyway, all the money you've been using is from me. Stop talking nonsense." It seems Mother had forgotten that the card she was using was provided by me. Mother only remembers things that suit her, but I didn't mind. I casually ended the call. Eventually, Mother decided to buy new things, that she couldn't buy anything because I had emptied the bank account linked to Mother's credit card. A few days later, I received a call from David. "Mom's credit card isn't working. What's going on? You're the one behind this, aren't you?" David's tone was full of anger, showing that he had a sharp intuition. I just did what was necessary. Saying it's my doing sounded negative. I was kicked out of the house. I used to support my mom's lifestyle, but that's no longer needed. I've emptied the bank account linked to the credit card she's been using. I can't stand her spending recklessly anymore. Wait, does that mean all the living expenses? So far, all the living expenses were covered by me. Didn't you know all the wines and grilled meat you and Lily enjoyed? The designer clothes and bags you wore proudly. Everything was bought with the money of the sister you've been looking down on. Is that so? All this time, we've been unknowingly taking advantage of you. Exactly. How do you feel now, David? How does it feel to realize that your lavish lifestyle was thanks to the money of the sister you mocked? You guys are so proud. It must be humiliating. But you're talented, so earning that much money shouldn't be a problem for you, right? I provocatively said it on purpose. David seemed to be at a loss for words, looking very frustrated. Dan, why the hell didn't you tell us? It seemed that David's wife, Lily, had been listening over speakerphone as her voice chimed in. Why didn't you tell us sooner? Mom, doesn't that mean you have absolutely no money? Mother seemed flustered under Lily's accusations. I always thought there was a lot of inheritance from my husband. I'm sorry. While it's true that our father left some inheritance, due to Mother's excessive spending habits, he couldn't leave much. It was for this reason that he advised me to amass as much wealth as possible. I'm sure you all can figure something out, right? I've only done as you told me. David, I'm cutting ties completely with you, Lily, and Mom. So I'm hanging up now. Wait, we're not done talking. Ignoring my brother's protests, I hung up the phone and blocked his number. Later on, I received emails from both Mother and David asking for help. From these, a new revelation came to light. Apparently, David had quit his job, assuming he'd have a leisurely life living off the presumed family wealth. With the constant luxury he was provided, it's not surprising he had such a misconception. Currently, David and his wife are working part-time jobs, barely affording basic household items. Their extravagant past lifestyle is no more, resulting in endless arguments between David, Lily, and Mother. Every time they argue, I receive emails from both parties expressing their desire to live with me. Of course, I've cut ties and simply ignored these messages. Presently, I'm enjoying my comfortable life alone, with no need for any relationship with David or Mother. I believe I fulfilled my promise to my father. I'll continue to work and invest, aiming to increase my assets, and little by little, I plan to explore the worlds of romance and marriage.